You know that advice you always hear? To calm your mind, just become the observer. Just watch your thoughts go by. But what if that whole idea is a kind of stepping stone and not the final destination? What if that observer you're trying so hard to be isn't actually there at all? I mean, you've totally felt this, right? The second you decide to watch your anxious mind, the whole scene just shifts. The frantic noise gets a little quieter. A really sticky thought might just dissolve. How is that possible? How can the simple act of looking at something change what you're looking at? That's the huge mystery we're diving into. All right, so to get our heads around this, we're actually going to start somewhere you probably wouldn't expect. We're going to a quantum physics lab. I know, but stick with me here. Because it turns out there's this bizarre rule that governs the tiniest particles in the universe. And it has a shocking parallel to what's happening inside your own consciousness. So in the quantum world, this is just a fundamental law. You literally cannot measure something without altering it. The act of observation isn't passive like watching a movie. No, it's an active force that basically pushes reality to make a choice. Think about that for a second. Looking at the world doesn't just reveal it, it helps create it. So before a scientist looks, a tiny particle isn't in any single place. It's more like a cloud of potential, just a smear of every possibility existing all at once. But the very instant it's observed, bam, that entire cloud of possibilities collapses into one single definite outcome, a fixed reality. And here is the truly wild part. You are doing this all the time, not with particles, but with your own mind. The moment you turn your attention inward to a really strong emotion, it often morphs or softens. A powerful craving can just fizzle out. A huge fear can suddenly seem manageable. Just by watching your inner world, you are actively participating in what it becomes. So, how does this whole idea actually show up in practice? Well, for so many people, this is the very beginning of their inward journey. It's the first instruction you get. Step back and become the witness of your own mind. You know, when our minds just feel like a total storm of reactivity, just one overwhelming thought after another, the idea of simply observing feels like a lifeline. We're taught to see our thoughts as passing clouds in the sky, not as these deep, fundamental truths about who we are. And this shift feels like a massive breakthrough. You go from being tossed around in the storm to suddenly standing on the shore, just watching it. You stop identifying with the chaotic thoughts and start identifying with that quiet, still awareness behind them. And man, the sense of relief is just huge. This new identity, this witness, it becomes your own personal safe house. It's this quiet, peaceful place you can always come back to when everything out there feels turbulent. You start to think, okay, I am not my frustration. I'm the one who sees the frustration. And for a while, this works beautifully. It's a game changer. But if you stay with this practice and you're really, really honest with yourself, something strange starts to happen. That solid ground of the witness starts to feel a little shaky, a little less permanent than you first believed. And this is the question that changes everything. If this observer is your true, unchanging core, your real self, then why does it seem to move? Why does its quality change? Why is it that some days it feels really strong and clear, and other days it feels kind of distant and vague? It's funny, when you ask people to pinpoint where this I is, they point all over the place. For some, it's a feeling of pressure right behind the eyes. For others, it's a warm sensation in the chest. Sometimes it even feels like it's floating just outside the body. But a truly fundamental self, it shouldn't be a moving target, right? Let's actually do this right now. Just for a moment, gently try to find the center that you are looking out from. Not your body, but the actual sense of you. Can you feel it? Is it a specific point? Is it more of a glow or a general region? Just gently see if you can locate a central me point. Okay, and here's the twist. The very moment you found it, the instant you said, there it is, it's in my chest, you made it into an object of your observation, which means, who was doing the observing of that? You see, you just took another step back. And that right there is the entire inward journey in a nutshell. We start out identifying with the body. Then we realize, hey, I can observe my body, so we shift to the mind. Then we see, wait, I can observe my mind too. So we land on being the witness.
But the final, most crucial question is, what happens when you realize the witness can also be watched? And this leads us straight to the core insight of this whole exploration. The observer you thought you were, the one you were trying to find and rest in, it isn't the final subject. It's just a much more subtle kind of object. This is the simple rule that dismantles the whole structure. If you can notice it, feel it, describe it, or point to it, even in the most vague way, then it cannot be the ultimate you. It's just another appearance, another thing happening in the field of awareness. So this is a massive shift in perspective. You are not a static thing that observes, like a noun. The truth is much more like a verb. You are the dynamic, unowned, ever-present activity of observing itself. You aren't a thing that sees. You are the seeing. The spiritual teacher Nisargadatta Maharaj put this so perfectly. He said the witness is like a beautiful, pure reflection of what's real. But a reflection is, by its very nature, not the source. It's pointing to something else. Think of it like this. When the water of your mind is completely calm, it can reflect the moon perfectly. That perfect reflection, that's the witness. It's beautiful, it's clear. But the moon itself was never in the water. The real awareness, just like the real moon, is way beyond the reflection, completely untouched by any ripples on the surface. So where does this all end? Where does the journey lead? It leads to the final dissolution of the one who is on the journey. The dissolution of the seeker, the observer, the central me. This whole process of looking for the I is a tool. It's like a stick you use to stir up the embers in a fire to get it roaring. It's incredibly helpful. But for the fire to consume everything at the very end, the stick itself has to be thrown in. Even the question, who am I, has to dissolve into the fire. Because what's left is the realization that there's no little person sitting in your head, looking out through your eyes. There's nobody holding the camera. There's only the seeing, only the hearing, only this raw, vibrant, unclaimed experience, unowned by anyone, not centered anywhere, and completely, utterly free. And so, that's where we land, right here, with this final, open question. If every single observer you could possibly find is just another thing appearing and disappearing, then what are you? What is this vast, silent, open space in which everything, including the very thought of you, appears?